Hi everyone. Now in this video I'm going to be showing you how to troubleshoot or rather rectify the most common issue with sewing machines. Now after threading your sewing machine and you're set to make a stitch, then you start. Now for better understanding, I used two different color thread. Now this is the top thread, pink, and this is the bottom thread, green. As you can see from this stitch that the bottom thread, which is the green thread, is looping on the face of the thread. Now if your sewing machine is having issues like this, now don't worry. Your machine is not having faults, but just a setting. Now you don't need no repair personnel or no repair person to fix this for you. You can always fix this yourself. Now before fixing issue like this, you should first understand the cause of issues like this. Okay? Now, issue like this is caused by tensioning. Now understanding what tensioning is now tensioning, and this is the tension disc that tensions the top threading, while the bottom threading that is inside the bobbin case is tensioned by the tension spring leaf on the body. Now this is the bobbin. As you can see, the bobbin is inserted perfectly. As you can see, it is spinning anti-clockwise. But the issue we're having with this bobbin is that the tension is loose. As you can see, I can freely pull without any effort. Okay, now if it is like this, like when I try to suspend, it slides down. As you can see, that means the tension is too loose, and the tension must be tight enough so that your sewing machine can make perfect stitch. Now I'm just rewinding this. Okay, don't get confused. Now when the tension on the bobbin and the tension on the top thread is normal, then the joint point of the top and bobbin thread will be locked in the center of the thickness of the fabric. Okay, now pay attention. That is when the tension is normal. But when the top thread is too tight or too loose, or the bobbin thread is too tight or too loose, that is when loose stitches and floating stitches occur, even wrinkles. By wrinkling your fabric, that is when both top and bottom thread tension is too tight. So the top and bottom thread tension don't need to be very tight. It needs to be normal. Okay? Now let's correct the tension on the bobbin. Just take a screwdriver. Now this is the tension screw right here, as you can see. Now tighten this screw clockwise so that the spring leaf can have proper grip on the thread. As you can see, after doing that, I can easily suspend the thread, the bobbin like this, using the thread. But it is not rolling out. That means the tension is not too loose. I can still pull, but I need to apply effort. Okay, this is saying that it is not too loose. Okay, now this is for the bobbin tension. Okay, now after tightening the tension, maybe you're still not satisfied, you can tighten it a little bit, but not too tight. Okay, all right, now let me rewind it a little bit. Okay. Now for the top thread tension. But first, let's insert the bobbin back into the bobbin compartment. Okay. Now close the slide. Now for the top thread tension. Okay. Now listen carefully. Now after threading your sewing machine, now always make sure that you come to this tension department, this tension spot, and make sure to pull manually with your hands to make sure that the thread is locked in the center of the tension disc so that the disc can have proper grip on the thread. That is our best tension. Okay. Now making sure that the tension disc have proper grip on the thread. Now tighten the tension disc. Okay. For best tensioning. Now for you to know that the top thread tension is perfect, when you grip the thread directly from under the presser foot after threading the sewing machine, you shouldn't be able to pull the thread. As you can see, I'm trying to pull this thread right now. It is not pulling. Instead, my needle is trying to break because that is how to tell that tension is okay. When it is not too strong, I can grip on this place and pull. It is still hard. That means for your sewing machine to be perfectly working, or for your best stitch performance, this top tension needs to be strong, but not too strong, because when it is too strong, it's going to wrinkle your fabric. But it is best when it is tight. Okay. Now after correcting the top thread tension, now you're going to have to pick the bottom thread with the top thread. I'm just going to turn the balance wheel towards me, like so. I'm going to take out the bottom thread. As you can see, now this is the bottom thread and the top thread. Okay. I know this video is getting too long, but I just want proper understanding for my beginners out there. You should be able to pull the bottom thread a little bit like this, but you should now after correcting the tension on your sewing machine, or after regulating the top and bottom thread, in other words, for better understanding, now place the same piece of scrap fabric. As you can see, this is our first stitch. You can see that the bottom thread looked on the face of the fabric. Now let's make another stitch and see what happens. Okay. Now this is after correcting the tension. And mind you, after correcting the tension, you see that your stitch is still not coming out right. You can still recorrect or re-regulate the tension for the best stitch performance. Now this is our second stitch. As you can see, the green thread is still popping up on the face of the fabric, while the bottom tension is still very okay. As you can see, and the top thread is still popping up. Okay, but some people see this as the best, but for me this is still not. As you can see, the green thread is not supposed to be showing. It is supposed to be locked in the center of the thickness of the fabric. Like the top should be only pink thread shown, and the bottom should be only green thread. As you can see, the pink thread is not showing at the bottom thread. It's not looping, but instead the bottom thread is still looping. as you can see. So you still need to correct this. So now this is still caused. Now from this you can see that this is caused by the top thread tension, because it is only when the top thread is too strong, that is when the joint points pop up on the face of the fabric. I will just have to readjust the top thread tension by loosening it a little bit. I'm just going to loosen the tension a little bit to loosen the tension, okay? And then make other stitch. Okay. Now this is the final result. And this is the top thread. As you can see, for the first stitch, the loop was very vivid, bold and big. For the second stitch, the loop was very, very small. And then for the third stitch, this third stitch is perfect, I must say. As you can see, the green thread is not popping up. And let's check the bottom thread. As you can see, the bottom thread is green and the top thread is pink. Okay, now this is how to fix the issue of loose stitches or looping stitches on your fabric. Okay, and if you are still not satisfied with the tensioning, you can still regulate, because before you correct the tension, you must first of all understand. Now listen closely, let me break this down for you. Now for the tension to be perfect, if the tension is okay, I mean the top and bottom thread, the joint points will be locked in the center of the thickness of the fabric, as you can see for this third stitch right here. This is exactly what happened here. The joint point is locked in the center of the thickness of the fabric. But when the top thread is too tight, you can see the bottom thread starts to loop on the face of the top thread. And when the top thread is okay and the bottom thread is too tight, then the joint point is going to pop up on the bottom of the fabric, and sometimes leads to gathering, okay? And you don't want that.